Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today, she is a nail artist. Please welcome Annie, also known as Tengoku Nails. Hello, Annie, and welcome to the show.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for watching, and thank you, Asia, for inviting me to this little interview. I'm super flattered, very grateful for this. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Yeah, I've been a fan of your work. Your work is pretty good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, but I
Thank you
definitely
so
want to go ahead
much.
and get started by asking, like, where are you from and how'd you get started in the nail industry?
I was born in Miami and pretty much raised in Miami and South Florida all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I got started in the nail industry um, honestly, thanks to the pandemic. Before the pandemic, I was really studying a lot, and I've always loved to do my nails.
Mm-hmm.
Since I was a kid, like I've loved to do
Right.
my nails, even with just like a little bit of nail polish. I didn't start getting into gel until like 2015, and
Mm-hmm.
more seriously as years went on. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, after it started, I kind of expected to lose steam with it, but it just never left my interest. So I'm really happy to like be a nail tech now finally.
All right. Wow. How long you been licensed?
I think 2.5 years. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But also too, I definitely want to get into as well, like, who are like some of like your favorite like nail artists that you looked up to?
Oh, I have so many. I literally follow I think over 4,000 different artists on like Instagram. But when I think about like influences, um there's a Japanese artist. His name is Kai32,
Mm-hmm.
and he's kind of the first Instagram nail artist that was very recognizable to me. And he has his
Right.
own style. He does a lot of like 3D work. He doesn't do too much like hand painted work, um,
Mm-hmm.
but I still really loved his style. Another one is Chieko Nakayama. She
Mm-hmm.
has tons of like YouTube videos of like really cutesy like 3D art work
Mm-hmm.
for nails, and I just found that really unique, and it
Mm-hmm.
really helped me get into nails and make it really exciting. And then on this side of the globe, I'm definitely inspired by artists like Nail Jerks with her airbrush works. They're
Mm-hmm.
just really nostalgic. Rose B Nails, she's another South Florida artist, and I actually took a class with her to kind of get introduced to gel, Japanese gel first.
Mm-hmm.
And another one would be Crocaine. She's
Mm-hmm.
also another South Florida artist, and she's been in the game for so long and is really well known. And they all just really leave an impression on me. I really look up to them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really amazing. Yeah, Crocaine is very good, especially Rose B nails. Like I love like the detail that she has within her work. But I also want to get into as well, like, what has been your whole experience like having your own nail studio or your own nail salon?
Oh gosh. I just have a little studio space. It's not really like my own salon. It's
Mm-hmm.
been such a blessing. It's been a huge blessing. I did work for a little bit in a salon, a really well-known salon, and
Mm-hmm.
no hate to them at all. It just was not an environment that I was good enough to work in at the time.
Right.
I thought I was, but salon work is grueling. It is very hard. You have to be very fast. I always struggled with that. I definitely like to take my time with things. Um,
Right.
and it's hard to kind of get your name out when you're working at a salon. And
Mm-hmm.
the whole point of me becoming a nail artist was I just want people to enjoy the art that I do. I don't just want to keep doing the same trends that are happening or just like regular French nails or just simple nails. I really wanted to create a space where I would have that freedom to just do what I wanted and do something different and do something that really you wouldn't get in a salon. Like, I just don't think it's possible to get the type of work that I do at a salon. Some salons want to, they really want to offer it, but it's difficult because it's a lot of time. Having my own studio allows me to take my time because I mean, my clients have no choice. Either you wait for it or you just don't get it. Um, which is I think it's nice to be your own boss. It comes with a lot of challenges though. You really have to be your own safety net. You have to develop um, a way of working that is going to suit you. It
Mhm.
really is like on a case to case basis, like if it's for
Mhm.
you or not. I've definitely gotten a lot of people asking me what it's like, if it works for them. And for me, honestly, I don't think just anyone could do it. But if you want to do it, if you have an inclination of feeling that it's something for you, then it probably is. And anyone could do it. You just have to work a little harder. It's definitely a lot more admin skill
Mhm.
based. Like you really have to budget yourself well. You have to keep up with like just any paperwork that you need to do, like taxes and stuff like that. It's not as easy as having someone else take care of that managerial work for you. And there's also some aspects of like scheduling that is very different from salon work. While you can choose what type of work you do, and you can technically choose your clients, it it's a lot more personal. You have to communicate with the clients yourself. Whereas in a salon, you're kind of just given the client whoever wants to do their nails with you, and
Right.
that would be a little easier. So it's just like lots of pros and cons and differences that may or may not be for everyone. But overall, it's just been a blessing. It really helps to create a space where I feel comfortable, I feel happy to come to work every day, and I wouldn't trade it for much else. Like I really enjoy it.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's really, really, important because as long as you enjoy what you do that fits in your lane, I think that makes a huge difference. But yeah, but most definitely, I worked in a salon, more so like a spa during my last year at college. But yeah, like how you said, they give you the clients, like, hey, do this client, do this person, do that person. You know what I mean? So I think with salon versus having a studio, I think it's more so when you have a studio, you have more of that freedom, creative freedom than it is when you're in a salon. It's like kind of limited to a certain degree.
Oh, yeah, extremely. I still think it's good to have that experience, to
Mhm.
understand it and to be respectful of it because it's a big part of nail culture is just kind of understanding the difficulties of other nail techs and what they have to do, and it helps you respect the craft more. I have the utmost respect for any and all nail techs that work in salons because it's hard work.
Right.
That freedom of having your own studio. I mean, not everyone can afford that. It's not always available to everyone. Spacing can be very limited, especially in a big city. Things can be more expensive.
Right.
So I would honestly say if anyone ever had a chance to have their own studio space, like I would go for it. I think it's a really great way to foster your own freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. But I also want to get into like the whole thing of having a clientele. Like in regards to nail art, do you usually have creative freedom with the nail designs, or do people say, "Hey, this is what I want. Like I want like something like Pokemon or like
Yeah.
gorilla
No,
jumpsuit, things like
excellent
that."
question. Yeah. It's the biggest question. I think even like new clients kind of are unsure of how it works for me. Um, so I just love to think of myself as an artist first. I did things before I did nails, and I'll probably do things after I do nails that have to do with art and
Mhm.
painting and drawing. So for me, I at least want to have control of the general composition and the look. I definitely want to have control in that area, so I let people know that that's the style that I go for. And that's the difference between working in a salon and working on your own is that you have that freedom. A lot of my clients actually allow me to choose almost every time. Maybe once in a while, like for their birthday or like a special occasion, or they just feel like it, they saw a trend. They'll ask me to do that trend or something that they like. But for the most part, a lot of my clients trust me to kind of like decipher their style, and to do something fun. And they actually really like having the ability to not think about it. I think when clients think about what nails they're going to get, they get overwhelmed because there's so much that can be done. And honestly, when I have the freedom to do what I want, the nails tend to come out much better. Like they just come out more um perfected because I've given a lot of thought to the design. I still allow clients to bring in their own ideas if they want something, especially new clients. I don't love to do just artist choice, I call it, for new clients, just because like I don't know what they love. I'm not sure of their vibe. But I don't get too many new clients. When you're good at your job and you offer good service, you tend to fill up quick. So I don't typically have that issue, but it's a little bit of both, but a lot of freedom. I definitely push giving me some freedom, because why do you come to an artist for, when you could go somewhere else and maybe spend a little less money and then choose yourself? Like, I just think it's a different experience.
Right, absolutely. Now, would you consider your art style to be like anime for the most part?
I I'll just say yes because that's kind of the trademark, but I never felt like it was really that. I just think that because I've been doing anime art in my life for like, I don't know, I think since I was 14, I've been religiously like just trying really hard to get the anime style down.
Hmm.
So that's been like over a decade of me putting in that effort to get it right. And because I'm able to do it for sure, like it's kind of become the trademark of my work.
Right,
But honestly, I love more simplistic composed designs. I'm in love with like 3D art. I love abstract art too. Because I think with nails, it's a smaller canvas. What's important is just composition and making it
right,
look balanced. And I think we all have our own style when it comes to our preference of what nails should look like.
right.
Um, so yeah, I think I'll say yes, but I'll also say that I love other aspects of like the type of art that I do.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely right. Exactly. Yeah, especially that whole thing with this whole trend that's going around now, like with the alternative ombre, the French. I mean, you
I
know,
I love to see like how everyone kind of is they're either half upset or half obsessed over it. The people that are kind of like annoyed by it, that they just think it's difficult to do, and then the people that are obsessed with it, just like they're just kind of bugging each other over it. But I love that trend just because it's so simple. It's actually really simple if you use an airbrush. You can knock it out within an hour. Just the design. So I
mm,
actually really love that trend, and it amazes me how we have so many trends. Like I'm not a good guesser of like the next trend for sure. Like every time a new nail trend happens, I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's the new thing. That's interesting."
right.
So, but it's another thing about nail art that's fun, just the novelty of it. I really
Mm.
love.
Yeah, exactly. I don't guess too much about the nail trends either, because really it's just nothing but recycled trends.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
come and they
Maybe
go.
with like a little spin, but honestly, they're recycled.
Yeah, yeah, essentially. But I definitely want to get your take in regards to like nail classes. So you offer nail classes. So what are those nail classes entail? And what are some things that, one should know in regards to those nail classes?
The nail classes I specifically offer, honestly, I pretty much offer anything. The most popular class is the character art class. Like I said, like it's pretty much just the trademark of my work just because it's something that I can do well. But I do also teach basics, preparing the nails, applying product, fixing nails that are broken, doing extensions. I started teaching airbrushing as well. That's become super popular. I forget what else. Oh yeah, 3D art as well. That's another thing. I just like to teach mostly art, but I can teach like basics and stuff like that because when I started out, that was actually a huge thing for me that I was worried that I wasn't doing something right. You know, issues with lifting was like a big question in my mind, and like what products should I use? I don't know what products to use. So
Mm,
when I teach, I always give like a list of products that I use, like literally everything I use to all my students.
right.
And I always leave the conversation open to them. Like if you have any questions after the fact, after the class, like just let me know. I'm basically a forever friend, to my students because I just love sharing knowledge. It's just fun. I think ever since I was a kid, I've loved teaching. Like
Mm,
my mom would tell me stories about how I would get in trouble because I would stop doing my work and I would just help the person next to me like do their work, and then I wouldn't finish mine, so it would get me in trouble. But I love the aspect of teaching in this industry, and yeah, I can teach pretty much anything. What I prefer though is definitely the hands-on approach. So right
mm,
now my classes are just one-on-one. I have really high standards for class materials. I don't like investing in things that I feel are not worth it. So if I ever do online classes, I just want to make sure they're really well made so that you feel like you're getting the value that you would if you were doing a class one-on-one with me.
mm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. But I definitely want to get into in regards to like pricing. What is your perspective in regards to pricing nail services and nail art? What's your experience with that also?
It's a big topic. There's so many layers to it. I think on one hand, you have to think about how much you need to make. First of all, are your expenses being covered? Are your materials being covered? Are you going to be able to make this a career? It's actually quite a luxury to be able to do this as work, in my opinion, just
Mm,
because it's expensive to get into. It's very expensive. I I just think there's so many colors and glitters and tools, and then when you don't know what to buy, that also means that you're spending a lot of money just to get into it. And then there's hours of practice, there's classes. Like you might not think that you would need a lot of education going into this field, but you really do. It's
mm,
like the nuances of like shaping perfectly and doing lines really perfectly. It's a very physical artisanal skill, and I think
mm,
people are maybe not registering that when they see nail art prices.
mm,
um, but then there's also the fact that like our economy is changing, things are going up in price. If you go to a local salon that's like kind of high end or middle end, you're probably going to be spending over $50 anyways, and I
right.
think a lot of nail techs now are around that range anyways, like single studio nail techs. um it's just tricky, but at the end of the day, I think if you're gonna price yourself, you have to be good at your work.
Right.
Period. Like you have to do good work. No one's saying that you should price yourself at like $200 if you're doing work that is a beginner's work. Absolutely not. Um,
Mm,
so do good work. Price yourself conservatively so that you can actually make money. Don't take it lightly because it's important for you to also have a plan for your future. I think people think that doing this job is like fun, it's like a side hustle, but no, I mean, this is a career choice for a lot of people, and you should
right.
treat it as such, and we should be compensated for our work because, why do you choose to come to us if you could get it somewhere else? So Price yourself appropriately for what you do and your area, and for your future as well. Cover your expenses. Um, like if you have an hourly wage that you feel you need to make, go by that. I go by that. I think about like the minimum that I would want to make hourly at a job at my point in my life and the expenses that I have. And that's kind of how I price myself. Like, oh, I know a simple set will take me such and such hours. And then if I really want to get paid this much hourly, that's going to be my price, just multiply it by the hours. Um, there's another factor of it that kind of escapes me, but I think it's also super tricky because it's just art. Like, you can't really put a price on art. You put a price on your desire to have the work of a certain artist, mostly,
Right.
or a certain style that maybe only that artist in your town can produce. Um, I love to compare nail art to tattoo art because tattoo art, a couple years ago, before Instagram became like a big melting pot of artists and small businesses, um, it was very limited. I couldn't really find too many artists that I enjoyed. But now it's grown so much. The style of tattoos has grown so much. You could find the most realistic, beautiful work, and then you can find the silliest, like hand drawn looking art, but it's still really desirable because it's a fun style and it's
Right.
unique. And you're gonna pay that artist whatever they ask for because they're the only ones who can do it. And that's a part of art that's really special, is that um, it's a relationship. The consumer is going to choose what they want to spend on if they can afford to spend something on it, and if they can't, they're just not going to get it. So there's a lot of like turmoil, I think, between people who want to enjoy nail art but maybe don't want to pay a high price. Um, and then there's people who understand, and they very politely just are like, well, maybe it's not for me. And then there's people who will pay for it. And I think we all just have to have the confidence to price ourselves properly.
Hmm.
And those types of clients will come to us, the ones that are willing to pay and appreciate our work. And we shouldn't be afraid to price ourselves fairly, because at the end of the day, like, that's not only putting yourself on the line, like if you're not taking care of yourself financially, but if you have family, if you have friends or loved ones, you want to make sure you're okay, not just for you, but also for them, so that they don't have to worry about you either. So there's a lot that goes into it. And at the end of the day, it's not just nails. It's a career choice, and it's important.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. That's a lot of things you have to take into consideration. And the thing that clients and people don't understand is that this is much of an art form as anything else. This takes a lot of time just as much as anything else. So the thing is that we taking like 3 to 6 hours or plus for a set, even if it's like press on nails. Like if you look at ball pit nails,
Oh, even more. I take
yeah,
longer on press on nails because I must suffer some kind of like compulsory issue, because the reason I love doing nails on people is because they're waiting for me. They're sitting in front of me and they're like, "Hey, like I'm trying to go home." And if I sit down with press-ons, there's just never that deadline
yeah.
waiting for me. And I tend to take much longer on press-ons, which is why I don't offer them very often at all. Um, but yeah, I've taken quite a long time on nails before, but for the sake of the art, that's what matters to me the most.
Hmm. Yeah, most definitely. People have to understand like this is just as much of a, statement piece as anything else. And the thing is, and I can appreciate how people, even with myself, I'm working on pricing, as well, like, charging over $100, for press-ons or like for a nail service or something like that, because it is important that you have to sustain yourself, in different aspects, especially trying to get nail materials, especially trying to maintain other things important, stuff, especially like, trying to keep yourself covered in terms of insurance, people don't understand those things. So that's something that I think people have to take those things into consideration.
Yeah, I think it goes back to our question with like the differences between a salon and a studio. I
Mm,
think point blank, people should be expecting to spend more at a private studio,
right.
regardless of the look of the studio. Just the fact that a person has to now cover everything over the overhead of everything themselves, you should go in with the expectation that it's more expensive than a typical salon manicure.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I definitely want to go ahead and talk about like that you use like Korean nail products. So, what was like so attractive to you about like Korean gel products?
The packaging. The packaging. I think I've always wanted to surround myself in like the cutest little trinkets and things, and Koreans really do a great job with their packaging. Um, uh, I do also enjoy Japanese nail products. It's just that Japanese products are a little bit more difficult to acquire. Japan has some really strict laws on like shipping out chemical products. And Korean products are just much more accessible nowadays. There's a lot of brands. They have cute packaging, and I
Mm,
think they're pretty on par in quality to Japanese products. So I think they're both like really high quality and really cute.
mm. Yeah, I can agree with that too. I think that's something that Koreans do very well is the packaging as well. Like it's just something, the little characters and mascots they have for the nail sets is like really amazing, especially with the Diami pony jello that you have.
Yeah,
I've seen that you did a review on that. I'm like, they have like the girl, then the rainbow, and it's like lavender colors.
yeah, they know how to sell. They're really selling you a lifestyle, a feeling,
Yeah, an experience.
and that's what you want. I mean, we're in this complicated structure in society, and at the end of the day, we all just want to feel a little bit of happiness when we open a package, and I think they do that really well.
Yeah, exactly. Most definitely. But I also want to get into the business aspect. Speaking of marketing, so what are some things that have helped you in regards to marketing your nail art and things like that?
Um, in the beginning, Instagram was just so great. I think I was gaining like 100 followers a day, just as long as I consistently posted every day. Definitely, still social media is a beautiful way to be able to get your name out.
Right.
I think it really helped tagging my location. I have so many locals that have recognized me in public. I always get caught off guard by it, but I love it. I'm like, wow, like it feels so nice to know that there's people who like what I like, and
Mm,
it's a really like humbling experience to like
mm,
feel a connection to people that way. So social media has definitely played the biggest part of my life as a nail artist, nail tech. It's just helped me to connect to people so well. I haven't needed to really like advertise or pay for advertising. I think you
mm,
just really have to work hard with like showing people what you can do. And
mm,
that's another benefit of having your own studio and having the freedom to create your own style of nails, is that when you have that freedom, you are showing the world who you are, and that's really what people want to see. Like you could make the cleanest French nails, but at the end of the day, like people want to see you, what you can do, and how it's unique to you. And I think that that's what helps the most in marketing. Um,
mm,
is to really just do whatever you want to do and put your whole heart into it. And I think now for sure, TikTok is definitely the more popular social media platform. I definitely find myself getting almost as much engagement as I do on my Instagram, even though they have um very different amounts of followings. Like I think on
mm.
TikTok I only have like 1,400 versus like 34K on Instagram. Unfortunately, Instagram does seem to kind of be suppressing nails now.
Yeah,
I
the algorithm.
I don't know, but just really use social media to your advantage. I don't think you need much else. Especially because nails is such a like visual thing. It's so easy to really connect with people through social media now.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now, what are some like booking apps that have helped you like in terms of like for clients to like book you and stuff like that? What are like some like the best booking apps?
Um, I haven't tried too many because I only accept 2 clients a day, because my nails could take between 3 to like 6 hours, honestly. I could really only fit 2 people in a day.
Okay.
So because of that, I had to be very like on top of my scheduling. I had to do that a lot manually. I then tried Gloss Genius and it was pretty good, but I think now I'm really impressed with Fresha, Fresha, Fresha. And it's just been a really clean interface. At first, I was charged quite a bit the very first month. They had a lot of like different like paying structures for using their service, but
Mhm.
literally like a month or two later, I think they became a public company. Like I'm not sure if you're familiar with that structure of companies where like if it's private, like funding might be like different. But when they had that change, they like completely removed a ton of like fees, so now I don't even think I pay much at all, if anything.
Mm.
So that's been great, and then the interface is really clean. I'm able to edit my schedule very like modularly. Like I can put in shifts. So what I typically do is I put in shifts for the morning and shifts for the evening, so that way I can just have the one client in the morning and one client in the evening. So it really has helped me a lot. um I still have to do things manually sometimes, but I think it's a good app.
All right, cool, cool. But I also want to get into back into the marketing aspect because I definitely what I like about what you said was it was very remarkable because like you have to understand, you know, people like authenticity. And authenticity is very important within the age of social media that we're in. And you know that's like how we said before, the Korean nail products they do so well is the marketing, especially with the packaging. They make it an experience. They have the characters as the mascots and stuff like that. If you look at Ho Ho Lee and Diami Pani Jello, they have the mascots and stuff like that. So that's what I like about, you know, with packaging now is not only just packaging in itself, but it's an extension of like a like storytelling. And that's
Mhm.
something I like about with your work. It's a sense of storytelling within like different manga characters, anime. And but I also want to get into as well, like what are some like your favorite like Korean gel nail products that you've been using?
um Hands down, my favorite, and I don't mention this product a lot because I don't want people to think that it's good for everything. It would be, I don't have any with me now here at home. It would be D-Gel, the painting pods. So maybe
Mhm.
you've seen the like Disney ones. There's
Mhm.
like maybe 12 or 14 of them, and they're little Disney characters. They don't just have those, they have a full range of colors.
Mhm.
And those, they don't particularly have the cutest packaging, but like I said, they had their little like Disney packaging, and that's what brought me into it. That's what made me try the product. I was like, oh, this is cute. I tried the product, and they are the best, most pigmented gels that I've ever tried for nail art. That being said, they have their own pros and cons. The con is just that you can't use it on the entire nail, because when you go over it with top coat, if you used it on the entire nail, the top coat will shrink away from it, if that makes sense. So it's not for use on the entire nail, but they are the perfect like opaque quality for doing nail art. So D gel, and the paint pods. I haven't tried the bottled ones, but the paint pods are beautiful. They're probably the best gels that I've ever tried.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Yeah, I just ordered some Ho Ho Lee polishes. So
They're so cute. They're so cute.
Yeah, yeah. I got the vacation ones, so I'm pretty excited to try those. But I also want to get into as well as nail brushes. Like, what are some of like your favorite nail brushes to use when doing like detailing and things like that?
I love, Narina. I think you did do a interview with her.
Yeah,
She came out
Narina.
with brushes. I love all her brushes. I also like the Izemi line of brushes. So you can get them at heynails.com, and like all of them are just really nice quality. I don't know if I have any here. I think I have one. But yeah, they look like this, the red,
Mhm.
and the one I have here is like a really long one.
Mhm.
But the ones I have at work are obviously the ones I use the most. And they're just really nice quality. I also enjoy the Presto gel brushes from naillabostore.com, I think. Those are really good. Like the bristles are really nice and soft. I love collecting brushes, so there's like an endless amount of them that I think are really good. But those three, you have the two brands, and then Narina Nails, the indie brand. I think they're really good. They've been my top favorites.
Mm. Yeah, it's really, really cool. Fine detail brush, you can never go wrong with that. But I also want to get into as well in terms of nails, like because I know we did talk about you offering nail classes of different types, not just nail art in itself. What are some of the three things in your perspective that people need the most help in regards to nails?
Patience. People need patience. It's a hard industry. I definitely had a lot of tears, sweat and tears, cold sweats, um, mini panic attacks when I started, because um, a big aspect of it is being a little bit extroverted. I'm definitely leaning towards the introvert. Um,
Mhm.
but you have to work with someone, you take in their energy, and when you're starting out and before you really dive into like a lot of education, you're kind of just worried about going fast, 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 fast. And in my mind, truly, you should not be worrying about going fast. I'm still not fast, and I'm okay. You know, you have to learn to do things right. You have to learn to perfect your craft, and everything will come with that. Like the clients will come. People have always wanted to get their nails done. Nails have been a consistent beauty service since nail salons became a thing.
Right.
It's really only because of COVID that nail salons kind of had to, close. But before that, it was kind of unheard of that nail salons would experience a dip in popularity. So I think before any nail tech freaks out about like their time and how quickly they're doing something, they really should remember that like this service is really desired almost anywhere. Um, Obviously, more in larger cities, but you don't have to push yourself to do things fast. You should just really worry about doing things right first, and then you'll get faster. The more you do it right, you'll not only do it right, but you'll also do it faster over time. The more you do it.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, patience is very, very, an important thing because, even, I still learn that to be patient, take my time with, nail designs and stuff like that. Cause that's where, the quality of the design and the detail really comes out. You know what I mean? So I think it's just about also enjoying the process too.
Yes. And honestly, I don't know how nail techs that don't have some kind of entertainment for their clients do it, because I honestly, my clients know, like, hey, when you come get your nails done, like, if there's a show you want to watch, if there's anything that, I can put on for you, like, let me put it on for you. The hours just melt away, like, it really helps out. So if that's something that you're struggling with, that's another pro of having your own studio space, your own like salon space, is that you can also help in that aspect. Like if it's something you're really worrying about, there are ways to entertain clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, always, make sure you have the client like entertained or
Yeah,
offer something.
it's
That's not what my
part
spa.
it's part of the skill, you know?
Yeah, right, exactly. That's like my spa. Like there again, like they offered like food, like especially like with
People love
massages.
it.
You get a package,
People
like you
love
get a meal.
I mean, there's salons, particularly like hair salons, they offer mimosas. I mean, that always puts people in a good mood. So it's kind of working with, what you have at the moment, and
Mhm.
just having patience with yourself.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly, most definitely. Now, from how you first got into nail industry to now, what is your perspective in regards to like the growth of the nail industry?
Oh, the nail industry, I think, is growing incredibly. I mean, I think a little over a year ago, I researched a bit the growth just out of curiosity, and I think the projected growth over the span of like 30 years for nails was between, I think, 12 and 19% growth.
Mm,
And that's massive in economic talk. That's
right.
a huge amount of growth. And I see it. Like, I see new nail techs popping up all the time. And it doesn't worry me because at the end of the day, there's enough hands to go around. There's always going to be new people becoming nail techs, older nail techs becoming teachers. And then retiring or something, new nail techs coming in, new clientele coming in. I'm not too afraid of anything like that. I think it's amazing because it's been the only thing in my life so far that has given me independence, and I really want that for other people. The majority of nail techs being women, I absolutely love that for women, gaining their independence through this field, and I think it's great. So I'm very optimistic about the growth of the nail industry.
Yeah, right, exactly. Especially the technology has improved so much. You know what I mean? Also, like the products have gotten more and more advanced. I remember when I first started getting into nails, like the crackle polish. I mean, of course, that's
Yeah.
coming back. All these trends, recycling and things like that. So technology, especially social media, is really helped a great deal for a lot of people, especially with nail art, to or really get inspired to jump into the nail industry.
Yeah. I just think it's such a novelty, and as
Mm,
human beings we love new stuff. We just love new things, we love new trends, we love to reinvent, we love to create. And I think it's like this beautiful like industry where all of that kind of just smashes together because you got a little bit of painting, you got a little bit of beauty, you got a little bit of like communication. You have so much going on, and it's just a really fun industry. So I think I'll always be optimistic about it.
Yeah, right, most definitely. But I also want to get into as well, like in terms of like how have you been able to balance between being a nail artist and just everyday life?
Um, I'd say pretty poorly. Um, it's just hard.
Right.
Especially when you run your own studio space, it's hard. That's
Hmm.
the con of the studio space. I feel like we always keep coming back to just whether you work in a salon or whether you work in your own space.
Right.
Um, it has a varying degree of difficulty. I just
Mhm.
think in my life there's a lot of people who demand my time,
Right.
such as family and friends, and of course clients. Clients become my friends, and there's also a duty to be available to clients.
Hmm.
Excuse me, to be available to clients like consistently every month, and every now and then, I can't provide that consistency. It does feel bad, but then I think about all the new nail techs coming into the industry, like I said, and that's why I don't worry so much, because like
Right.
if I can't take a client, there's other people who can do it, here and there. I also have to really learn to manage my time. I think creative people tend to have difficulty in that aspect. Um,
Hmm.
that's been a learning curve for me, kind of figuring out how to handle administrative tasks easier and more consistently. Um, it's a struggle, basically. What helps is just to put everything in a calendar. Just really schedule out things, like schedule out quality time, schedule out personal time,
Hmm.
create lists of things that you have to do. uh,
Right.
just really just doing your best, to handle everything you have to handle, because the world keeps spinning. You
Right.
can fall into moments of like frustration over it, but it's never going to stop going. Everyone else has lives, and you kind of just have to go with the flow, and you have to
Yeah.
learn how to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. Most definitely, because we're in an age now, also too, especially going into mental health. I think mental health is very, very important. I think finding that balance is very, very important, especially with me. I'm still working on how to manage my time and be more productive
Oh,
with things.
always,
Yeah,
always.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
Oh,
a constant thing.
yeah, yeah, being an artist personally, and that's definitely the thing. Like, I'm glad that within our generation, mental health is spoken about a lot more, and people are so open about what they go through and saying, "Yo, like this is what I'm going through," or saying like, "Hey, it's okay to get help," and things like that. Especially on TikTok too, a great deal of people are very open about the importance of mental health and having that emotional balance.
Um, it's just so human to
Right.
have, mental ebbs and flows. And it
Mhm.
should always be a conversation when it comes to our work and careers, because it's important. We're not on this earth to just work. We have to also enjoy our lives and be human beings and have
Right.
family and friends, and be healthy. At the end of the day, like, that's the goal. We don't just work to survive. We should work to be healthy.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it is, the world is tough. It can be, very, very, vicious, but I think, there's always understanding too that there's good people around, within this world and, people that you can count on. So I think also thinking positive is like another thing too.
Yeah, being a nail tech has meant kind of becoming that person to people, and it brings me a great deal of pride and like happiness. I certainly, will suffer my ups and downs with mental health, but like, I
Hmm.
will be the first to comfort people in my life, because
Right.
it just comes with the territory of like having a job where you communicate a lot with people.
Yeah, absolutely. Most definitely. But I definitely want to go ahead and ask what's next for you?
Next, I am planning on teaching, like traveling to teach. So that's one
Mhm.
thing. Hopefully soon I'll be announcing something with that. And I'm also trying to create my own indie nail supply brand. I'm not trying to do too much. It's a very expensive and difficult process that takes a long time, and I'm super new to it. But I do plan on coming out with my own line of brushes soon, so that's really exciting for me. It's been dreadfully like frustrating to like figure everything out. I do have experience just based on
Mhm.
my previous jobs. I do have experience like with online commerce, so I'm not too worried. It's just like
Mhm.
there's a lot involved in creating a brand. Like I said,
Mhm.
packaging is super important, so that was really important to me. But above all, just creating a product that I would use and I do use in my everyday life.
Mhm.
So that's what's next. I'm super excited for that. Like I said, novelty is really important to us as human beings, and like I think it's important to keep things fresh and do something new. I find myself doing new things every year, and
Yeah.
it makes me really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what did you do in terms of e-commerce, possibly?
E-commerce, I mean, just putting up products, learning how to use websites and learning how to ship things,
Mhm.
learning how to do it efficiently. So I'm not too worried about that. It just takes a lot of time. And I think that's what,
Mhm.
as people that work with other people and our time is very valuable, I struggle to find the time to devote to side projects. So that's been the biggest struggle, is just finding that time, carving that out. Sometimes it's literally just, I could have 1 hour in the day and I'm like, that's it. I'm doing this right now. Like, I don't care what else is on the list.
Right.
I know I have like an hour of my time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get this task done for that side project. So that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of how it's been for the last couple months, where I really just, in a whim, in the moment, I have to just carve out a little bit of time to focus on these side projects.
Yeah, absolutely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media, and how can people support you and your work, and how can people get access to classes?
You can find me, of course, on Instagram as Tengoku_Nails, and same as TikTok. I definitely post more on Instagram. And if you'd like to take a class with me, you can just send me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me at tengokunails@gmail.com. Classes for now are just one-on-one, so in person. But like I mentioned, I do plan on traveling for classes, and eventually I will create video content so that you can get online resources to learn.
All right, cool, cool. Well, thank you so much, Annie, for jumping onto the show. It's been great meeting you. I love your work. You're absolutely, very, very fun, very, very informative. I really enjoy myself. Your work is absolutely detailed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Asia. It's truly my pleasure. I love talking about nail stuff, and it's been great. I love your work as well. Just really appreciate it. Thank you. It's an honor to speak with you.
Yeah, it's been an honor to speak with you as well. And I think your files will really enjoy this interview when it come out. So
I hope so.
yeah, yeah, I believe so. Well, take care.
Yeah. Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.